Welcome to today's show. I have here with me our guest, Dr. Maria Sophocles. She is a gynecologist and a menopause specialist for over 25 years. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Tell me a little bit about your background as a medical professional.
I've been a board-certified OBGYN for 29 years. I have focused on menopause and sexual function for at least the last decade and have worked with New Jersey senators to get a bill passed for reproductive rights. I'm an author, a TED speaker, and I just love advocating for women, trying to give us some voice in today's healthcare system.
Can you tell me a little bit about what is the outlook right now for menopause and how does that differ from perimenopause?
The outlook for menopause today is cloudy, but with a chance of sunshine in the future, because menopause has been largely disregarded in medical education, and we see this because 75% of women who come to a physician for help with menopause leave empty-handed. This is because it's an awkward topic for clinicians, it's an awkward topic for women, and for decades, I think women have been sort of told that once you're finished your reproductive life, you just sort of sail off into the sunset. But women are living longer, so they really want to stay healthy and have vibrancy and health for a long time. We talk now about health span as much as longevity. In other words, it's not just how long you live, but it's how well you live. So women from 50 to 80 or 90 want to have that health and maintain their cardiovascular health, their mental health, their bone strength, things like that. So there's a lot of talk. Menopause is really kind of coming out of the shadows in a way.
What are some of the symptoms that one will go through and recognize that that is what they're going through?
Sure. So first of all, symptoms don't just happen like the day you turn 50. Symptoms can be as early as the mid to late 30s, most commonly in the 40s. We call this perimenopause, the decade before the end of periods. Those symptoms can be something as subtle as your menstrual cycles coming a little bit closer together or becoming out and out crazy, heavy, and irregular. Those symptoms can be in the brain. We know that estrogen is so needed in the brain, and that what perimenopause really is, it's sort of a hormonal roller coaster. It's not an on-off, I have estrogen and progesterone and testosterone and now I don't. Perimenopause is this chunk of time where the levels fluctuate, and that can have huge effects on brain, mood, cognition. Women often believe they have anxiety or depression, palpitations, muscle and joint aches, so many different things, Daisy.
So because of all these symptoms, there's a lot of talk about hormone replacement therapy, HRT. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. HRT, or now those of us in the business just call it HT, is really about giving back two of the three hormones that the ovary primarily makes. So the ovary makes estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. Many people don't realize that women make testosterone too, but we do. Throughout our lives, and we make it in a way that supports our bone, our brains, our libido, so many things. HRT, or now we say HT, is really giving us back progesterone and estrogen. The estrogen itself is what really corrects a lot of the symptoms like hot flashes and night sweats and brain fog. But the progesterone is very important if you have a uterus. If you've had a hysterectomy, you only need estrogen. If you have a uterus, you need progesterone because in the uterus always has had estrogen, which grows tissue, and progesterone, which inhibits that growth. So in menopausal HT, the progesterone protects the uterus from what we call unopposed estrogen. By the way, progesterone is also wonderful for sleep, and sleep becomes a big issue for midlife women. So if you have that progesterone given back to you, your sleep troubles largely get corrected, which is great.
Are there any risks associated in who is a good candidate for something like that? Is there someone who shouldn't be taking that?
Yeah, so nothing is risk-free. Not the car ride I took to get here, not the Tylenol I take with a headache. But it's about weighing the risks versus the benefits. And we know that women who take hormone therapy after menopause have lower risks of heart disease, much less osteoporosis, less colon cancer. They have improved cognition, and overall, they live longer. But it's not perfect. So women who have an estrogen receptor positive breast cancer, not all breast cancer patients, but those specific cancers in the breast that are sensitive to estrogen, those women cannot take HT. Women who've had a heart attack or stroke have a higher risk of problems subsequent to that with blood clotting, and we know that HT can increase the clotability of the blood. So those women we don't give HT to. But even some of those women desperately want it to fix symptoms or to stay healthy. So it's important to have an individual discussion with a clinician who understands hormone therapy to decide if it's right for you.
Having all these conversations about hormone replacement and testosterone, how does that affect a male?
Great question. There's a lot of information and a lot of excitement about women being healthier and sticking up for themselves and getting treatment for menopausal symptoms. What we forget is that men also make testosterone and they make estrogen. Many men wouldn't even realize or believe that, but they do. And the hormonal changes that occur in men affect their mental health, their physical health as well. For example, testosterone is made pretty much equally for little girls and little boys until around the age of 10. And at age 10 to 18, the testosterone levels for men explode. They peak at around 17 or 18, and then they decrease over the course of a man's life. And a low testosterone is something that does affect men, and I don't mean only with libido. Everyone kind of links testosterone to libido, and I think that's fair. And low testosterone can affect men and women in terms of their libido. This is a lot of what I speak about and write about. Testosterone is also linked, low testosterone that is, to mental health issues like depression, to energy levels, to fatigue, even to cardiovascular health and bone health. So it's not a crazy idea if you're a man and you're feeling some of almost the menopausal-like symptoms that many women feel, low energy, low libido, to have your doctor check your testosterone. Women should too.
Females and males, if they're approaching that stage in life and everyone starts at a different point in time, how does one prepare for this journey?
Well, I don't want people to think they have to prepare for some big tragedy that they're going to fall off a cliff and suddenly be, dried up and worthless. I think it's really about looking and understanding pillars of health, okay? Pillars of health don't have anything to do necessarily with menopause or andropause. Their sleep, their connection to community, their exercise, and their diet. And those four things, those affect your health at any age or stage. So whether you're 35, 45, 55, 65, or 75, it's never too late to say, am I optimizing my sleep? Am I getting good quality sleep? And if not, why not?
One thing that we didn't touch on was sexual wellness, because that is definitely something that is affected by menopause.
Well over 50% of women have sexual dysfunction as a result of the lack of estrogen in menopause. This goes largely undiagnosed and undertreated. This is probably because sex is an awkward thing to talk about. Women are reluctant to bring it up, and their clinicians often aren't well trained and don't feel comfortable themselves talking about sex. So we have this gap in diagnosis and treatment of sexual problems. And it's really a shame because, to be honest, whether it's a loss of libido or vaginal dryness or painful intercourse, it's very easy to treat these things. You can treat vaginal dryness by regenerating cells in the vagina. And you can do this with vaginal estrogen, which is safe and it does not cause cancer. You can do this with an oral medication called ospemifene, which is not even a hormone. You can do this with a painless, safe in-office treatment that I do in my office that regenerates the vaginal cells without any medication. These are things that women have available to them, but they largely don't know because their doctors aren't really offering them. So it's important for women to advocate for themselves, to seek out practices and physicians who are willing to help them.
Great resources for you. For more information, please visit our directory.
My name is Wioletta Wyszynski. I am the founder of Crave Nature's Eatery. Crave came to life during the most health challenging times, so I understand how important proper nutrition is. Today we're talking about nutrition and staying youthful, because proper nutrition actually does slow down the aging process, prevents chronic diseases, supports mental health. For example, as we age, we get brain fog, and it just slows down our thinking. And of course, boosts overall well-being and our energy. Key points that we need to remember when we think of nutrition and staying youthful would be a balanced diet and choosing whole grains like brown rice, quinoa, oats. We need to opt for lean proteins and of course, consume healthy fats. We know unhealthy fats like canola oil can lead to cardiovascular diseases and many other health challenges. We need to consume a rainbow of fruits and vegetables. The more colorful, the more nutrients and vitamins it has. And of course, staying hydrated will keep your skin youthful, free of wrinkles, and will slow down the aging process. You need to spice up your meals, incorporate herbs and spices. It has lots of antioxidant properties and it will slow down the aging process as well. You need to pay attention to portion sizes. Our stomachs are only as big as our fist. So make sure if you want to stay light and vibrant, make sure you don't overeat. You need to limit your processed foods and added sugars. Recently, the FDA has released a wide range of ultra-processed foods, which currently take up of 73% of the US food supply. So if you would like to stay vibrant, young, and healthy, make sure you eat variety of fruits and vegetables. The more colorful, the more vitamins and minerals it has. So if you're looking for healthy nutrition, make sure to visit Crave. We believe everyone deserves good food.
Hi, I'm Wendy Pinto. I'm the Wellness Director at Forever Young in Princeton, and I have had a lifelong obsession with looking and feeling our best through nutrition. We want to age with vitality and just look and feel our best. And so we can take an inside approach to this whole area of longevity, aging, and fitness. We want to start with the blood and really analyze where you are so that we can maximize all the hormones in the body and the vitamin levels. So we do use vitamin therapy. There's IV nutrition therapy. And within the world of IV nutrition, we have different things for different treatments. Now, IV nutrition gets right into the bloodstream. So when you take IV nutrition, it doesn't have to bypass the stomach, which is great. So all that really great vital nutrition gets right into your bloodstream for the cellular level. So we have different treatments with IV therapy that we can use. So let's say you have like too much fun one night. We have an IV that's specifically for a detox. We have rebuilding and recovery, so muscle enhancement and recovery. We have a glow, which helps with just like hair, skin, and nails, like a beauty one. And we like to use those also with treatments. We can do facial treatments where those work together. We have immune boosting, we have weight loss and muscle enhancement. And like I said, it goes right into the bloodstream. So that really targets our aging right at the core. So as we age, our useful and youthing hormones are declining. And so we like to treat this with plant-based bioidentical hormone replacement. And so with that, we like to use the plant-based because it's natural. It's just like our body. We also use growth hormone. And so with growth hormone, again, we like to use the plant-based growth hormone. It's what we use. It stimulates your own pituitary glands, process to release these hormones. So rather than just putting them in, it takes a little longer, but you're actually restoring and reversing the aging process because you're stimulating your own natural growth hormone, and that is actually having us reverse the aging process. So if you think about when you were a kid and you would get a cut and those cuts heal really quickly, so with the reversal and the adding in of Somorelin or Epimorelin or any of those growth hormones that we can use, it's amazing what technology can do to really stimulate and reverse the aging process. We're living longer and we want to live longer with youthfulness and vitality and looking amazing anyway.
Hi everyone, my name is Jenna and I'm the hairstylist and owner of Nouveau Beauty Lounge. I want to talk about something that's close to my heart and affects so many women as we age, and that's hair loss. First off, you're not alone. Hair thinning or loss is incredibly common and can happen for a lot of reasons. Hormonal changes, especially around menopause, can cause thinning because our estrogen and progesterone levels drop. Genetics may also play a role, and so can stress, nutrition, or medical conditions like thyroid issues. But here's the good news. There are so many ways to address this, and it doesn't have to hold you back. In my salon, we offer solutions that can make a big difference and help you feel like yourself again. Let's start with hair extensions. We use Great Lengths International extensions, which are made from 100% human hair. They're perfect for adding volume and length throughout your natural hair. Whether you want to have a subtle boost or a dramatic transformation, these extensions are bonded safely to your natural hair through a cold fusion method, creating a seamless natural look that moves and feels just like your own. Next, if you're experiencing thinning at the crown or on the top and back of your head, you'll want to go with a partial piece or a topper. Toppers are lightweight, easy to wear, and blend seamlessly with your natural hair. They're perfect for adding volume and coverage exactly where you need it. And finally, we offer full coverage wigs, which are another fantastic option. These wigs are made with a sheer lace base at the front, giving the appearance of a natural hairline. All three options are custom matched to your hair, color, and texture, so they look and feel incredibly realistic. And because they're sourced from 100% human hair, you can style them just like your own, whether it's curling, straightening, or even changing the color. Hair loss can feel overwhelming, but it's something we can tackle together. My goal is to help women feel confident and beautiful at any age. If you ever have any questions or you want to explore your options, I'd love to help you find the right fit for you. Thanks so much for listening, and remember, your hair journey is unique and there's always a way to feel amazing again.
Today I have with me Jenna Richardson from Princeton Integrative Health. Jenna, tell me a little bit about yourself.
So I am what I call the Chief Energy Officer of Princeton Integrative Health. I used to call myself the Chief Everything Officer, but I liked the energy portion better. We are a full service integrative medicine, functional medicine clinic. I found functional medicine because my background actually is not medical at all. I'm not a doctor, but I worked in the area of international business and management consulting for a very long time. And when I had my son Carter almost 11 years ago, he had some strange health symptoms that no one could figure out exactly what was going on. We hopped around from doctor to doctor, therapist to therapist, and finally ended up in a doctor's office that was listening to my mama bear instinct that something was going on in his gastrointestinal tract. He prescribed a medication, went to pick it up. Carter stopped eating for an entire weekend. He was a baby, he was an infant at the time, you wouldn't even breastfeed. So I called that doctor back. I said, he stopped eating. What should I do now? He said, oh, don't worry about it. I'll call in another prescription. So I went back to the pharmacy, first time mom, to pick it up. And the pharmacist said, how old is your son? Is the date of birth on the prescription accurate? And I said, yeah, he's 6 months old. Why? And he said, well, this medication is severely contraindicated for kids under the age of 2. He could stop breathing and die. So it was at that point that I, again, with management consulting background, I was working with large corporations to figure out inefficiencies, root cause inefficiencies and process inefficiency and all of those things. And I was like, well, why is our medical system not doing this? Why are we just trying to throw, a medication, a prescription medication at a 6-month-old baby rather than trying to figure out exactly what's going on here? So that was when I dove down the rabbit hole of functional medicine.
How does functional medicine differs itself from traditional medicine?
Yeah, so the way that I best describe this is using an analogy. So it's kind of like you have a house and the shutters are falling off and the shingles are falling off and the foundation is cracked, so the house is leaning to the side. The conventional medical approach would be, okay, let's look at those items as symptoms and prescribe a medication to fix that. It's like climbing up on a ladder and taking your hammer and nails and hammering and nailing the things back on and just kind of hoping that they stay up there. Our approach, so that's top down, our approach is more bottom up. It's let's assess that foundation, where it is cracked, either repair and or re-pour that foundation so that we can build a strong fortress on the top of that. Now, our approach to doing that is really a phased one, right? Starting at the foundational level of energy. We don't think about the fact that our cells are very important in supporting everything else that goes on in our body. So we look at things like mitochondrial energy production. We have modalities in the clinic like hyperbaric oxygen therapy, cold laser therapy, ozone therapy, these things that help the cells to function better, to produce the energy that we need in order to then provide our systems and our function to be optimal ultimately. So we look at things like energy, we look at drainage and detoxification, we look at whole system immune support. We want to make sure that the body is working holistically. It is a very complex biochemical machine, and we need to assess and evaluate and treat it as such.
So tell me, what is exactly functional medicine? Because a lot of people probably have heard it, but they're not exactly familiar with it.
Yeah, so functional medicine is, a lot of people say, oh, what you do is revolutionary. And I say, actually, it's not. It's more evolutionary in that what we're doing, rather than, again, identifying a symptom or a diagnosis to then treat with a medication, we're actually trying to figure out the why behind the body, the why the disease process is occurring or the dysfunction is occurring or the symptom is occurring. Because it's our fundamental belief that the body desires to be healthy, well, and balanced. And oftentimes it's just figuring out what is the root cause of the dysfunction that's causing the imbalance, that's causing the symptom, and then removing what I call removing the noise. Figuring that out, fixing the problem. You can't fix a problem you don't understand. And then setting people up on a path toward optimal health and well-being through therapeutic interventions like nutrition and lifestyle and stress reduction and movement and supplementation, those types of modalities.
So how do you do that? How do you diagnose? How do you find these conditions? How do you hone into that?
Yeah, so it's a very consultative approach. We spend about 60 minutes with patients really trying to understand them, their health history, what's occurred over their lifetime, because what we understand is that disease and dysfunction doesn't happen overnight. It tends to be a cumulative process. So a lot of conversation, a lot of deep digging. Sometimes I even refer to it as health detective work. It's the peeling back of the onion. So between an intense dialogue, asking the right questions, and then really comprehensive lab testing. So we're looking at things above and beyond just your standard like CBC or CMP. We're looking at micronutrient status. We're looking at full thyroid panels. We're looking for autoimmunity in some circumstances. So it's knowing what to look for of modalities like stool testing and saliva testing and urine testing, to identify, does the person have what I refer to as the 3 T's, which are toxins, triggers, and traumas hanging out in their body that are just causing chaos.
And then after that, after you do all this diagnostic, what does the plan look like?
Well, it's always individualistic. So we're treating the person, not the diagnosis, not the symptom. So, everything we do is very precise and very personalized. And again, leveraging things like nutrition and lifestyle intervention and nervous system regulation and supplementation. We will occasionally leverage prescription medication, but more often than not, we're trying to get people off of that path. Because again, we know that the body is capable of being healthy and well. It desires to be healthy and well, and we just need to give it the right inputs to do that.
Are there misconceptions about functional medicine?
It's an interesting question. I do think the paradigm is shifting. I think that, people have been very geared toward our conventional healthcare system, which is that symptom diagnosis medication. But I think what they're starting to recognize, as I did almost a decade ago, is that doesn't work. It doesn't always work. Now, that's not to say that it's not needed in some circumstances, 100%. But it should not be the go-to, right? We are truly responsible for our own health and well-being. I think we've put a lot of that responsibility on the healthcare system where it should never have been, right? So our goal really is to engage with people, educate them, encourage them, and empower them to truly take back control of their health and well-being.
So if you had a word of wisdom to leave the viewers with when it comes to functional medicine, what would that be?
I think it's a word of wisdom more about empowerment. It's about the fact that there are choices you can make. You know, we're not just dealt with the hand that we're dealt. There's this whole study of epigenetics about how what we eat and what we do and how we live our life can truly influence our health and well-being. So I would tell people you are in control of your health. You know, take back that control. Have self-leadership around that. Ask the right questions, be your own advocate, do your own research, and make the decisions that are best supportive for you.
We are living longer, but living better is truly the key. As you can see, there are so many resources out there for you to live a longer, healthier life. If you like more information about our guests, please check out our hyperlocal directory. Thank you for watching, and please remember, like, follow, and share.